Hello and welcome to our guide for one of the strongest and most popular builds of the league, the SMITE TRICKSTER. The Ephemeral Edge combined with the TRICKSTER is a cornerstone of multiple builds beloved by many players for a very simple reason. This setup allows you to scale your damage by improving your defense. It can be started with a fairly low investment and gradually upgraded almost endlessly, and every step will matter. The main synergy comes from the specific modifier on this unique sword that grants you lightning damage based on your total energy shield. By increasing your energy shield, you will improve both your damage and survivability. Reaching over 15,000 energy shield is well within reason and can be pushed much more with higher investments. Although this interaction received a well-deserved nerf coming into the patch 3.26, the utility of the Mercenaries far outweighs the losses, making this build stronger and more affordable than ever. It is all thanks to the widespread Doriani prototype setup that removes any resistance on your enemies. The Smite is a result of cold-blooded calculations. It simply deals the most damage. It is one of the few strike skills that can hit twice if you keep a small distance from the enemy. You will also have a supplementary General's Cry setup that uses Blade Flurry, which can be easily fully automated. The Transfigured Smite of the Divine Judgment is a variant heavily focused on clear speed. It deals less damage than the original version, but its strikes can reach additional enemies within a larger radius. It also lacks the extra damage aura, although a more powerful aura can be sourced from the Val Smite. It is one of the tankiest setup out there. You will have a massive amount of energy shield and evasion, suppress spells, and block some of the incoming hits. The recovery is also great thanks to the Ghost Dance, Polymath, and Endless Leech. Smite is a melee skill, but it can easily hit all enemies in a large area around you, providing a great clear speed. The damage against bosses is decent, but heavily tied to your investments. It starts quite low, but can grow to impressive amounts. For this reason, we recommend getting at least 30 Divine Orbs before starting this build. It heavily depends on your luck and crafting skills with rare items. The build uses only a few unique items, but some of them are very important. Obviously, you will need the Ephemeral Edge. The Whispers of Infinity grant tons of energy shield, kickstarting the build for a very low price. Ephemeral Edge is the foundation of this build. It grants you lightning damage based on your energy shield. The baseline version is very cheap, but additional corruption implicits that grant you fortify or attack speed can be very expensive. Whispers of Infinity Amulet grants tons of energy shield, and converts all your costs to energy shield, which allows you to use skills that usually cost life. You will still need some unreserved mana and leech to sustain the tincture. Bated Breath is a great option for low budget, although getting enough resistances elsewhere might be problematic. Use Tempering Catalyst to improve the energy shield modifiers even further. On the other side of scale, there is the Mage Blood Belt. Solving your resistances with permanent elemental flasks allows you to get much more energy shield and intelligence elsewhere, and it pushes your elemental defense to the limits. It is an aspirational upgrade. The build is planned without it in mind. The Chevron's Revelation Ring worn on the left slot provides a massive amount of energy shield and intelligence. The mana regeneration won't be good enough to sustain the tincture. You still need to get Leech. The role of the Lethal Pride Jewel is to provide a source of rage generation, although just a single jewel will be quite slow. It also provides a bit of extra strength and damage. The Stormshroud Jewel is a usual way to deal with elemental ailments on higher budgets by stacking just the shock avoidance, causing you to be immune to them all. Keep in mind that the simple immunity from the Tempest Shield does not apply here. The Watcher's Eye is another commonly used jewel. It grants you useful modifiers depending on your aura setup. In this case, it's Discipline and Precision. With this set of jewels, you can borrow another Ascendancy notable. The Saboteur's Bomb Specialist is very effective for its price tag, but you might also use Born in the Shadows for Blind or Swift Killer for frenzy charges. While the maximum energy shield is the most important here, you can't forget about attack speed or increases to elemental damage. You will also need to cap your elemental resistances and spell suppression chance and get enough strength to use your gems. The intelligence is not crucial, but it can be used to increase the energy shield if you have other suffixes solved. The primary role of your shield is to provide a large amount of energy shield. You can also get a bit of spell suppression or resistance here. The suppression has to be crafted with the crafting bench, as it cannot naturally appear on bases without a dexterity requirement. On the rare helmet, aim for a high amount of energy shield, resistance, and intelligence. You can also craft spell suppression chance if you lack just a few percentages, but it will be less efficient than the same craft on your shield. The rare body armor is the only piece of gear with evasion rating in this build, but it still provides a large amount of energy shield thanks to the escape artist notable. It can also redirect a portion of physical damage to be taken as chaos, or improve your flask sustain. The flat energy shield gained from gloves is not trivial, but much lower than other armor pieces. You should prioritize attack speed, intelligence, and resistances. With the regular smite, you will need an additional strike target obtained via Eldritch Implicit, otherwise we recommend rage generation for faster ramp up. The energy shield granted by boots is also not great, as you will have to sacrifice one prefix to get movement speed instead. They should also grant you tons of shock avoidance, which can be obtained via Eldritch Implicits and crafted suffix. A rare belt with Crusader influence can improve your energy shield by a great amount, while also providing elemental resistances, a bit of damage, and an abyss socket. Alternatively, it can be used for a shock avoidance sourced from Torment Essence. The Crusader influence is also useful here, providing the same increase to energy shield as on the belt. You can also use the cheaper but weaker synthesized implicit. Other than that, focus on elemental resistances, intelligence, and elemental damage. The Abyss Jewel is especially important after you acquire the Storm Shroud Jewel, as it can grant tons of shock avoidance. Other than that, it should give you energy shield, resistance, and attributes or attack speed. They can also grant you stun avoidance. The rare jewels should improve your energy shield and boost your damage. Since it is not a critical strike build, the options to do that are quite limited. Usually the attack speed is the best choice. Getting lacking resistances or attributes here is also a good idea. You will need two types of large cluster jewels. On regular jewels, you will look for Veteran Defender notable combined with each of the Leech notables. The third notable should be the Martial Prowess, which not only is the best option for DPS, but also grants accuracy. You might also need to use a Sword Cluster for the Blood Scent notable to generate rage. You should also use one or two jewels with the increased effect of small notables. Those empowered notables should provide energy shield, resistances, and intelligence or strength. Thanks to this, you will be able to get more energy shield on your main armor pieces. Sustaining your prismatic tincture requires some extra investments into mana and leech, but the payoff in damage is worth it. Additionally, it is not limited by charges in longer fights, just the small cooldown once in a while. For your magic flasks, we recommend a standard defensive setup that grants you speed, evasion, and phasing. You can also use elemental flasks for extra maximum resistances and capping resistances if you dislike reading alter modifiers. The Kineticist Mercenary provides the haste aura for extra speed and makes gearing much easier, as you don't have to worry about attribute requirements. It is a standard setup with Doriani's prototype and Perquil's toe. Thanks to the Doriani's prototype, you can skip any investments into curses, exposure, or penetration simply by giving this body armor to your mercenary and lowering their lightning resistance. Perquil's toe amulet makes your personal damage lucky, which is very powerful for the lightning archetypes. It makes your damage more likely to roll the higher value. In the highest difficulty of content, you might need to use the Defiance of Destiny amulet instead. It provides massive life recovery. Losing your mercenary on the map drastically lowers your damage. Vol's Vision grants your mercenary a massive amount of life regeneration, but you have to avoid using corrupted items. The Immortal Flesh is another great source of life regeneration. It also provides negative lightning resistance, although you will have to get more fire and cold resistances too. Use a rare shield with the Shaper influence that allows you to get the life recovery on block modifier. you should pair it with a high chance to block spells and attacks. To make the best use of the Doriani's prototype, you should use a special mirrored jewelry with negative lightning resistances. Try to avoid modifiers detrimental to mercenary survival. On rare gloves, you should look for regeneration rate instead. The Eldritch Implicits are also good, as they can provide intimidation and additional recovery for your merc. Similarly, on the boots look for regeneration rate, life, and resistance. Your mercenary doesn't need movement speed, they will always catch up to you with teleport. Smite of Divine Judgment strikes multiple nearby enemies with lightning. You can also use the regular version for more damage but lower area coverage. The Val version can also be used as a standalone gem for the buff only, as it is quite expensive. Getting proper socket colors might be a bit tricky. You might need to use Consecrated Effect if you can't get a 4th red socket. General's Cry creates up to 6 Mirage Warriors that use a single skill before dissipating. Blade Flurry is the strongest melee skill per single use. Your clones will fully channel this ability and release automatically upon reaching the maximum stage. Auto Exertion automatically triggers your War Cry at a small cost of your mana reservation. This setup has only one support gem, but it can quite evenly match the power of your main setup. It scales very well with attack speed. Discipline is a defensive aura that improves your energy shield and enables favorable Watcher's Eye modifiers. Flesh and Stone is a stance skill, but you will always stay in the sand stance. It lowers the damage of nearby enemies. Tempest Shield improves your spell block chance. It also grants you immunity to shock, which will be useful at lower budgets. Precision grants you tons of accuracy. You will need it to never miss your attacks. The Enlightened support lowers the reservation of your auras. It is not mandatory, but it grants better uptime for the tincture. Immortal Call is the most effective guard skill for builds with huge amounts of energy shield, as it provides a damage reduction instead of absorption. Desecrate creates corpses required for the General's Cry. Try to get hit at the start of the fight to summon your clones immediately. Blood Rage is a buff that grants you attack speed. You can use it manually for a higher effect, or keep it at a low level to be automatic. The cast, when damage taken, can trigger gems that match its level, and you want to keep it as low as possible to always have corpses nearby for the General's Cry. Poacher's Mark is the only way to generate frenzy charges for this build. You could also use Punishment or Enfeeble Curses, but they require manual casting. With the Mark on Hit support, you will automatically mark enemies and overwrite curses cast by the Mercenary, which are usually not needed. Shield Charge is your main movement skill. It has no cooldown and scales up with your attack and movement speed. With that in mind, you should use faster attack support to make it better. You can also use enhanced support if you have spare sockets. Flame Dash is a secondary movement skill. It is a quick teleport towards the targeted location. The first use is nearly instant. At first, helping the Illyria will help you gear up for a cheaper price. Later on, you can exchange it for the additional passive point. Without the complete Storm Shroud setup, you will need the Soul of the Brine King to be immune to freeze. After that, you can swap it to Soul of Lunaris. The best starting minor soul will be the Soul of Ralakesh, which helps dealing with bleeding effects. Once you have the immunities from jewels, you can use Soul of Yogel to reduce effect of curses. This build is not suitable for leveling. Although the Ephemeral Edge is a fairly low-level unique, to unlock its potential, you will have to equip proper endgame rare items. To complete the campaign, we recommend using a straightforward variant with Smite and a rare sword suitable for your level. The energy shield is also an ineffective defense at that point. You will want to pick up maximum life notables instead. On top of that, you should also pick up plenty of damage notables on the passive tree that are later replaced by the cluster jewels. Overall, while the playstyle is similar, your passive tree will be completely different during the campaign. Visit the written text guide on the website to check out our recommended leveling tree progression. The final passive tree is fairly spread out, You will pick up 2 keystones on the opposite sides, Chaos Inoculation, which makes you immune to chaos damage, and Precise Technique, which improves your damage with non-critical strikes. You will also pick up plenty of Masteries, which massively boost your damage thanks to your Ascendancy. Your damage is largely sourced from Cluster Jewels. They are much more efficient than regular passives. We hope you enjoyed Informations and their presentation in this video. If you want to see more of our work, consider leaving a like or subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching, and we wish you a great day.